What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here, aka the Gelid Glaciologist, aka the Sub Scientist. And this video is about Sub-Zero with the Kung Lao Kameo, which I believe is the team that stops the opponent from getting off the ground the very best. In other words, Kung Lao has a myriad of ways, probably the most ways out of any cameo, of stopping the opponent from being able to wake up with buttons, armor, or damn near anything else. Okay. So to begin with, what made me even start going back to Sub Lao? Well, I fought a set with Combo Heaven, and he picked the Kung Lao Kameo using Sub-Zero, and he did this. Whoops. Well, he didn't drop it like I did, excuse me. And I seen that damage. I said, God damn. But more importantly, I saw that recharge rate. This move here recharges back really quick now, thanks to a recent buff. Not in this latest patch, but the patch before, that got buffed. And this is now so effective that we can use it in combos. And by the time our combo is over with, you know, the meter is almost all the way back. And this has several important applications because Sub-Zero was always able to do stuff like this. Ever since we got Orbiting Hat, that's always been a thing. But look at how much meter we have left. Look at how much cameo meter. It's back now. So I could literally do something like that and then go right into my combo from there. That was never possible. And this has important applications as well, because now a dive kick becomes very dangerous for the opponent to deal with as well. See? 42 off of a dive kick. It's great. And I didn't spend any meter for that. Now you have to make sure you hit it low, because if you hit the dive kick too high, it won't work. But stand one will work as well. So let me do a high one. Hold on. Yeah, so almost 380 meterless from a dive kick. Really good. Very, very good. But as you saw with meter, this team does a lot of damage together. And Sub-Zero was never getting this kind of damage before. Pretty much 45%. And notice that bar is coming back. Really good for us. But this is not the reason that I'm making this video. See, that's mid-screen stuff. But where this team really shines is in the corner. So, of course, as I'm often doing, I'm fighting against Johnny Cage because he has the fastest wake-up attack in the game. And so what happens is Kung Lao does a really good job of stopping characters from waking up with armor. Hold on, I messed that up. You gotta be diligent with it. See? Stuffed. Absolute stuffed, like a Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah. So I tried to do stand 2. Some wake-ups are so plus, or some of your setups are so plus that you can do stand 2. So that was the universal clone. I also use this too. Whoops, not that, sorry. That's my preferred setup because I can use stand 2. So that's the double back 2, 2-1, stand 3. And you can loop it. And again, if this works against the fastest wake up in the game, it'll work against all the rest of them as well. You see what I'm saying? So I quite like that. I quite like that. And there's even another variation that you can do that involves using the low hat in the combo. Hold on. Because in general, if you use this setup, it's going to do like 28%. So that's 279, right? Okay. If you want to eke out just a little bit more damage, you can do something like that. And then you have this situation, which will allow me to loop it again. Well, I messed that up, but still, you get the idea. So this is really good. Now, when you use this, you have to be very careful because it's very easy to do it too soon and actually combo with it. You don't want that, you see? Let me stop him from waking up real quick. So, you want Sub-Zero to scoot back a little bit. You see how plus that is? That's plus 25. You can substitute stand 4, but you're going to be plus 23. Obviously, plus 25 is better than plus 23. See that? So that's what you want to do. See? So that's what you want out of the situation. And as you saw, if it'll stop the fastest wake up in the game, it'll stop all the rest of them too. Right. Don't you dare get your ass up, boy. Don't you dare. You know what I'm saying? And even if you mistime it, you'll trade and they're still in the corner and they don't get a combo. And if you don't want to use stand 2, you can always use 1-2 instead. Like if you use 1-2 as the trade, you will definitely stuff them every single time. That's the more consistent armor break option off of this. You just get a little bit less damage. So you get to decide whether to trade damage for consistency. So this is really good. I quite like this. With the new orbiting hat, you can do something like this. And do 36% before you do it. Hold on. So notice that's 36% before taxes. See that? And now he's about to be done. See? Combo City. So you're not using armor to get off of the ground ever. And I didn't spend meter to do any of these things, though you could spend meter if you wished. So hold on. Oh, I can't do it like that way. And I can't use clone either. That's the only drawback. If you wanted to spend meter, I advise not even using the orbiting hat at all. You know, you can do something like that, which, as you saw, does less damage. But there's other setups that you can do that involve using meter. Let me see. You can do something like that. I keep trying to use stand 2. I got to use 2-1 or 1-2 after that. Sorry about that. Yeah, see? But the problem is you can't clone afterwards because you already used it in the combo. So after that, you'd have to use 1-2 polar palm to do your things. Yeah. So, yeah, you got mad options. You got lots of options. And I think I even showed you guys that, hold on. Hold on. I think I even showed you that you can even, yeah, even after a regular situation like that. Sorry. You can armor break that situation as well. Hold on. And that's easy as hell. That's an armor break for your ass. You know what I'm saying? So you have that. You have that. But then I discovered something else that I hadn't seen anyone do. Once upon a time, I fought somebody using Sub-Zero Kung Lao that kept doing this to me. But he was doing it mid-screen. He would do slide and cancel the teleport so that he can get up. Oh, I kind of previewed it right there. But yeah, he would, let me show you. He would try to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it is strong. So for instance, you can armor break mid-screen if you're sure that they're going to wake up with some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't. So he was doing shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Mid-screen. And that's cool. That's really cool. I kept blowing it up with delayed wake up, so he could never get that set up, but that's beside the point. But I'd never seen anyone use this shit in the corner. And so then I discovered that. Did you notice something? Cage was in the wrong direction. Well, maybe not there. So after a combo, look at what happens. He shadow kicked in the wrong direction. This is a game changer, I think, for this variation. Because you, as the Sub-Zero player, can do a big-ass, juicy-ass, damage-ass combo like this. And then make the opponent wake up the wrong way and punish them with a whole ass back two. And then loop it. You see that? They're dead. So not only do they wake up with armor, which stops them from breaking, they whiff hitting you entirely. And they are so unsafe that you have time to use your slowest launcher. Because mind you, back 2 is 24 frames of startup. And Johnny Cage is 10 frames of startup on the EX Shadow Kick, plus 15 frames of active attack frames plus 28 frames of recovery adds up to a total of 53 frames. You have 53 frames to attack Johnny Cage with whatever the hell you want. So imagine you use armor to try to get out of this, only to be negative 53. I think that's really cool. I think that's really good. And like I showed you, what was I doing before? I did, I think I was using the clone. I'll find out in a minute. Yeah, I was doing that. Yeah. So you can just armor break people. You can armor break. You can armor break. And so you have the option of just reversing their wake up or just armor breaking them entirely. Okay. So there are some characters who characters like Melina, for instance, her armor attack makes her move backwards and attack you from the other side. What you can do is you can jump kick clone and she'll either get frozen or you just clone in the air and she'll disappear and then get frozen by the clone after she whiffs. So that's really strong. It's really cool. So we've established that the opponent cannot armor out. Because if you read the armor, they're dead. So then maybe they can use a jab string like this. Okay, so let's see what he tries. Oh. Okay, so what if they wake up with buttons? Well, let's see. Oh, so he was able to wake up effectively there. Let me see. Maybe I messed that up. Nuh-uh. No. Did you notice that? He attacked in the wrong direction. Whiffed again. See that? So, if they wake up and try to attack you, you get fucked up. Now, how do you even make this shit happen to begin with? Well, you got to do your combo, right? And you end your combo with the forward slide. So I'm just doing triple back back two, I'm sorry. And then what happens is, after you do your stand for slide, you press and hold the Lao Kameo. What's going to happen is it's going to temporarily put you on that side. But then you're going to cross over them and be back on your original side. But the game's still going to register that you're on the right-hand side. So when they get up and try to attack you, they're going to attack you in the wrong direction. Now, what's important is the moment you hit the slide is when you got to hold the teleport button. Not too damn early. You don't want to be that damn early. And you want to make sure you're doing the forward slide, not the reverse slide. So you got to hold X. See that? So it looks like the same glitch that causes the ice clone business. So there's a glitch that Sub-Zero has where if I try to do ice clone there, you see how it made me do the freeze even though I did down back? I think that glitch is the reason for this. And I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to use it effectively to confuse opponents. So the opponent can't armor. They can't wake up with buttons, right? What happens if they try to jump out? They could jump, right? Let's see what happens when they try to jump. You can jump, kick, clone. Now you got to make a read. You need to make a read. If the opponent decides that they're going to jump, you can't do a jump-in attack, unfortunately, because it'll whiff like a jump-in punch. Oh, never mind. Oh, whoa! Oh, you can do air strings. I didn't think of that shit. Oh my god. Never mind. I misspoke. So you can, you know what I'm saying? So if the opponent tries to jump, you're already in the air. You can do 2-1 or 1-2. You see that? And then continue your stuff. Let me see. See, I didn't even cross over yet. You know what I'm saying? That's wild. Look at that. You can't jump. You can't jump either. You see? So if the opponent thinks that they're going to jump out, they ain't jumping. Because they can get a combo for that. So there's no jumping out of that either. Now, most opponents probably won't do that. What they'll likely do is they'll probably wake up and block, right? Let's see if he does that. Oh, he's still going to jump. Sorry. Let's see. So let's say he wakes up and just crouch blocks. He don't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that. He don't want to do that at all. Because they get hit. The opponent gets hit. And so then that becomes a full combo. See that? So they don't want to do that either. You see what I'm saying? And then probably the most likely thing that will happen is, well, maybe not the most likely, but it's quite likely that they'll just delay. Hold on. Whoops. They might just decide to lay on the ground a little bit extra longer to make you whiff your shit. Okay, let's see what happens there. That's what I did. Okay, so you whiff your jumping, right? I whiff my jumping kick. My jumping punch didn't even come out. Okay. That time I got my punch. But I want you to notice, if they delay wake up, oh my God, long people doing their thing over here. You can just clone. You can wake up and clone. And it's okay. You can wake up and clone. Let me see. You might be able to wake up and string. Not really. You gotta wait until you get back on the ground. Probably the best thing to do is to wake up and clone. Now let me try, what happens if I do that in the air? You could do that too. You could do that. That's an option. Because they might wake up and try to attack you, or wake up and block. Like, but you see how there's a whole bunch of options that you can take? And here's something I hadn't even tried to do until just now. What if I wake up and dive kick? Well, why didn't I work? Yeah, you can wake up and dive kick. You can wake up and dive kick. So there's that too. And I know a lot of y'all like, dog, that's mad options. I have to decide what they're gonna do? Yeah, it's a fighting game, sir. It's a fighting game. Just like you have options, the opponent has options, and you gotta make a read. You don't have one option that just shuts down everything. That's not how Sub-Zero works, and that's okay. That's okay. But my point is, you do have several options that will shut down one of your opponent's options. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's good. I think that's very, very good. Now, in addition to all of that, Sub-Zero still has all the normal Sub-Zero stuff that he would typically do. So he could end his combo like this. And now the Kung Lao really helps Sub-Zero do even stupider things. Because now you can make the opponent, you condition them between to get thrown so much, right? So you end your combo in slide. Now they get hit. You know what I'm saying? And so, or they try to poke out, or they try to do something, get hit with the hat, and get launched into the clone. I think that's cool. Right? So that's already scary in and of itself. So, again, let's say you do your little combo, and this is just meterless. So you do your little meterless combo, right? 315. Oh, you didn't know he could do that, did you? I ain't know neither. So in addition to the low hat being useful in the corner for reestablishing trapping, the orbiting hat is good for us as well, because now it gives us a safe comboing overhead. Damn near 36%. And it loops. Well, not really, because it comes back on its own, you know. So, but what if you're at half of a Kung Lao? What do you do after you use excuse me. What do you do after you have used this? Got tongue-tied, sorry about that. Well, you have a tertiary option. So watch this. So let's say you've used this. What do you do afterwards? Right? You can teleport. And this is loopable. Well, I didn't loop it, but you see what I'm saying. And you can even get your jump in to go along with it. Though I don't recommend that because that actually lowers your damage. You're better off just doing a regular teleport. And that's a whole combo. See? So you have that going on. And then the very last thing I want to show you is how Sub-Zero even gets a hard to blockable scenario. So we have this situation right here, right? So you've seen that I've been using Ford 1-2 clone on Johnny because Cage is one of the characters that legitimately gets trapped by Ford 1-2 clone, right? If Johnny Cage crouch blocks after you do this on block, he cannot break out of the clone. But there are many other characters, about half of the cast, where if you do that string on block, they can just crouch block and break it. So against them, you'd have to do 2-1 clone or back 3 clone, right? So what do you do against them? Well, the overhead is sort of out of the picture because the overhead, not only does it not reach far enough, even if they cancel it, nothing happens. But if you do back 3 EX clone, I've been doing overhead into low and refreezing them, right? But because I have EX clone and a Kung Lao, Sub-Zero gets access to a hard to blockable. So notice, after back 3 clone, you have access to this charge hat that can be released at any time. So the opponent has to decide whether you're going to release this first and then smack them with the overhead, or are you going to do overhead first and then low? You see that? Off of either option, you get a refreeze into a major combo. And you can even loop the orbiting hat. You know what I'm saying? This may not happen all the time, but it is something that can happen. You know what I mean? And even if you don't want to use the low hat to refreeze, you can still just get the low hat to combo into the overhead. You know what I'm saying? So you can do that. You can do that. You can just get this to happen. Because there's plenty of opponents that as soon as they see you do this, they'll just get to jumping. You wait for them to jump, and then when you let the low hat hit them, you can combo right into your overhead. So all in all, I've not tested this against people yet. I need to refine this through gameplay to see exactly how viable it is. But just with this lab testing that I've done, this seems very, very strong. It seems very, very loopable. And I think Sub-Zero is greatly aided by the Kung Lao Kameo, because it already gives him a fast projectile that the opponent must react to. So you can do this and make the opponent have to, you know, react to that and try to jump over the low hat so that he can get frozen by the ice ball. This makes the clone, this makes the slide safe. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the low hat even gives Sub-Zero a goddamn combo mid-screen. So that's cool. And so he's able to control the screen, throw out this Lao hat. Which can basically be set up after any one of these. Safe slide. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already aided by this quite a bit in neutral, but now, when you get the hit, Kung Lao assists you. You know what I'm saying? And then when you push them to the corner, as you can see, they're going to have a very difficult time getting up off the ground consistently because you cover a lot of their shit. You know? So, I advise you to take this team into the lab, come up with your own stuff, practice what you've seen today, and then test it out against people and see how it works. With that being said, let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Thank y'all for rocking with me for all this time because I'm truly grateful. Hopefully MK1 does not die yet. And that'll only happen if we keep playing. I'll keep labbing, I'll keep making videos, and hopefully y'all will keep playing. But with that being said, I'll catch y'all later. Stay froze.